Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We actually ended up getting a surprise title update today in Black Ops 6 and Warzone, the 1.64 title update. So everyone is going to have to go through and download this. It's not a super significant update. It seems to be between like 600 megs and about 5 gigs, depending on which platform you're on. So not a crazy download, but a forced download nonetheless. And with it, we've got a ton of patch notes for multiplayer zombies in Warzone, including quite a few weapon updates. So we've got a lot to dive into here. As we do so, if you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. And if you are new to the channel, or if you're a part of that 59% of viewers watching who are not already subscribed, I'd love to have you change that. Every single day, I got you covered with updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns, everything going on in COD. So feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date. But starting off first here in multiplayer, quite a bit going on. First and foremost, a global weapons update for multiplayer zombies in Warzone. We have taken a comprehensive pass on weapon motion and applied reductions across the board to improve combat. Depending on the class and weapon, our targets for these reductions range from 30% to 75%. Players will notice far more stability while turning, moving, changing stances, and firing, especially in ADS. I love that. That to me makes it sound like they're going to behave more like MW 2019 or Warzone 1 weapons. We are committed to continually improving Black Ops 6 gunplay with a focus on balance and rewarding gameplay while maintaining the unique characteristics of each weapon. So, weapon motion, reduced visual recoil on all weapons, especially full auto ones, reduced turn sway on all weapons, especially higher magnification optics, reduced gun kick on higher magnification optics, with the exception of sniper rifles, reduced default idle sway on all weapons except snipers, further reduced idle sway while firing on all weapons except snipers, reduced motion, bob, translation, and additional idle sway penalties, and then also removed additional layers of hipfire deviation. Aiming idle sway delay is a mechanic that scales a weapon's idle sway when first entering ADS, so the initial point of aim matches the crosshair positioning. These values are now improved and consistent across all weapon classes. Snipers, which previously had a scale of 50, now provide a complete reduction. As always, we'll be keeping a close eye on that. So aiming idle sway delay on all weapons is now 2.2 seconds. Aiming idle sway delay on snipers now fully removes that rather than reducing it by 50%. Target laser now improves aiming idle sway delay to 2.9 on all weapons, so some significant changes there. We then get into some basic multiplayer exclusive patch notes here. Hacienda, they adjusted the spawn logic. With modes, Face Off got a couple of updates with the score increases. 10v10 Mosh Pit also saw some score increases. Prop Hunt also saw a couple of different gameplay updates there. It's also enabled in Private Match now. Nuketown Holiday, they addressed an issue where you could have a green visual effects attached to your player there. On weapons, headshot damage has been a big source of discussion in the community. Keep in mind, this is just for multiplayer. And we're making adjustments that'll increase the effectiveness on headshots on full auto primaries. Our philosophy on hit location modifiers in BO6 has been to limit the sources of inconsistency, especially when you're engaging in so many forms of movement. That said, we understand that you want headshots to feel good, basically. In most cases, weapons will require one fewer headshot at all ranges to improve TTK. The major exception is SMGs in the max damage range, as we're wary of letting these TTKs get too fast. To compensate, we're increasing SMG ranges. The CHF barrel attachments have also been adjusted on all weapons to maintain a step up on new default values. That's pretty cool. We expect this change to greatly impact the weapon meta, especially in conjunction with our new weapon motion changes. We'll be monitoring this closely. So we actually get multiplayer specific weapon updates too. So the XM4 max damage actually gets nerfed by 1, but its range is way better now, and it only has a min and a max damage range. Headshot multiplier was buffed, and then on the CHF barrel, the multiplier was buffed as well. On the aims, its range actually gets nerfed, but it now has a mid-range. Then also headshot multiplier buff, CHF barrel, headshot multiplier buff, but there's also more view kick on there. On the GPR, slightly worse close range, but also headshot buff, CH barrel, headshot buff, view kick, penalty increased for horizontal and vertical. Goblin, damage buff up close, but a range significant nerf, and now has a new medium damage range. And then also minimum stays the same. Headshot buff as well. Same deal with headshot multiplier increase on the CHF barrel. Model L, better damage up close. That's cool to see. Minimum damage range stays the same. Headshot multiplier buff, CHF barrel, view kick penalties increased. On the AK, headshot multiplier is just better in general. Love to see that. The Val actually gets better damage at all ranges, but a slightly worse close range and a headshot buff. The Krig has been a top tier performer since its release. We are adjusting the handling and recoil. So the headshot multiplier is still buffed though. Sprint to fire is actually slightly faster. Tac sprints increase, but there's more recoil to it now too. So it's still going to be good, but it'll be slightly harder to use. So really all the rifles end up getting better there mostly. On the C9, worse damage up close, but better range. Actually, worse damage across the board, but better range everywhere. Headshot multiplier buff, headshot barrel buff as well. KSV gets better range across the board. Love to see that. Headshot buff for everything. Tanto gets better range as well. PP919 gets better range across the board. The Jackal gets one less worse damage up close, but better range everywhere than headshot multiplier buffs. Compact gets range buffs and headshot multiplier buffs. The SOG, it's good having the SOG back. We're happy with the balance. However, dual wield is terrorizing close quarters combat, so they're adjusting that. So the range gets buffed on the base weapon. Headshot multipliers are buffed, but on the Akimbo stock, the damage range penalty is way worse now. There's also worse hip spread and view kick there too. Rapid fire also saw a damage range penalty increase and fire rate improvement decrease. On the XMG, we're making small adjustments to the CHF barrel recoil to help keep a strong headshot profile with better stability, so that just gets adjusted there. PU21 close damage is better, range is staying the same. Headshot barrel gets a buff. GPMG damage gets better across the board. Headshot buffs there too. For melees, we're improving melee weapon attack speeds, especially on 2-hit kill weapons. Our goal for all melee weapons is to feel unique. So knife time between swings is improved. Same with the baseball bat and the power drill. That's pretty cool there. Equipment reduced the frag grenade inner damage radius there. UI addressed an issue that prevented teammates outside the max range from displaying a perimeter on the minimap. Addressed an issue where the gentleman's handshake finishing move was not working correctly. For graphics, they addressed an issue where the player's weapons missing during a benchmark test. And you guessed it, various stability improvements like always. For zombies, we also have a couple updates here, nothing too crazy. On Citadel, they addressed an AFK issue, addressed an issue loading a save, and then also addressed an issue where the light beams for obtaining the amulet would not be visible there. Weapons addressed an issue where changing default attachments on a blueprint would not apply, so that's fixed there. And of course, various stability improvements. Now let's jump over to Warzone and see what changed there. So here, an initial adjustment to ranked play. Buy stations in Warzone Ranked will now spawn at the same fixed locations in every single match. Ranked play is designed to minimize randomness, so that's why they're doing that. Fuel upgrades, munitions, and utility are going to provide max ammo now. That's so huge. Thank goodness that's fixed. It'll also no longer provide ammo for each other ammunition type, though, for what it's worth. Weapons. The following weapon motion and idle changes apply only to Black Ops 6 weapons, so nothing is changing for MW2 or MW3 weapons, and it's the same stuff that we saw over in multiplayer. So reduced visual recoil on full auto weapons, reduced turn sway, gun kick on higher zoom scopes, reduced idle sway, further reduced idle sway when firing as well, reduced weapon motion, and then also additional layers of hip fire deviation. 30 to 75% changes everywhere, same deal here. Idle sway updates on the snipers is also going to be different now too, and in general, the idle sway is going to be different. So like I said, same global update that we just saw over in multiplayer. We also saw some actual weapon adjustments here in Warzone. So the aims, headshot barrel view kick penalties have been decreased. Goblin view kick penalties increased there on the headshot barrel. GPR view kick penalties increased. On the Krig, sprint to fire, attack, sprint to fire increase. The recoil is also changed up there. Model L headshot barrel penalties increased. On the SOG, akimbo attachments, hip spread penalty increased, view kick penalty increased there. No damage changes though, they're saying, unless they accidentally translate those over from multiplayer. On the GPMG, headshot barrel view kick penalty increased. CHF barrel on the XMG, same deal there. On the Maelstrom, the Dragon's Breath has been adjusted. Not a huge surprise here. Max damage was decreased a ton there because it was absolutely melting. Medium damage range 1 was decreased. Medium damage range 1 was also decreased again. Maybe that's a typo. I'm not sure. Either way, medium damage range 2 damage was decreased. Medium damage range 2 generally decreased. Okay, so the damage in both was decreased there, and so was the actual range there. On melees, again, it's going to be the same updates we saw over in multiplayer. The knife, baseball bat, and power drill are all faster to swing now. We do also have a couple of bug fixes here. They fixed an issue preventing the Battle Royale Top 250 leaderboard from populating, an issue preventing the Grenadier perk from slowing enemies, and an issue causing players to get stuck on the loading player stats loop so you don't get permanently kicked out of Warzone constantly. That's a huge fix there. Really, really nice to see that. We just talked about that yesterday, of course. So honestly, of course, assuming all of this stuff in this patch actually works as intended, this is a good update for weapon behavior and mechanics. Obviously, there's still nothing addressing the servers or the anti-cheat. That still should be priority number 1 and 2, but actual gameplay still is, being impacted, I would say, in a positive way, especially with weapon behavior. Keep in mind, though, it is only BO6 weapons that are affected by this, so that is something to take note of. I feel like they just heightened the gap or, made the gap more noticeable with BO6 versus MW2 and MW3 guns, but But nonetheless, that's everything that changed in the 1.64 title update. That's going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so you can always guarantee you're up to date with everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.